Hey there, folks. Time again to do some CSS battles. These are CSS battles from the past. These are June 8th, June 9th, and June 10th of 2024. Let's get right to it. So this is one that I did recently after being stuck at a 99%, 99 point something percent. But I have successfully done this recently. So let's try and do it. It's got some tricky bits, but using the element technique, I had success. So I'm going to see how fast I can do it. It took me quite a while to do it last time, but I'm going to do it a piece at a time, and let's get there. So I'm going to do it one piece at a time, and I'm going to do 4 paragraph tags. Each one is going to have margins and heights and modifications to get things into place. So let's get right to it. So let's set margins 100. There's 100, and it is 100 pixels tall, and then margins on the sides to do the first part, which is this the oval behind. So this is sort of almost like a Baby Yoda-ish shape. 1, 2, 3. And then with a border radius, border 50%, let's say. And then let's adjust those numbers. Maybe it's, so that looks pretty good. So we start there. And then let's do a second element. And because we've got multiple of them, normally I would do a P plus P to target the second one, right? Which I can do, and then to distinguish it, I'll do a background of black, and I don't see it. Oh, because the margin's over, I do margin 0 or minus 100. There it is. So there it is. Anyway, but I can also, if I add an attribute, then I can target it with that. Okay, so I'm going to undo the border radius. So we do border radius 0. Right, and that gets me that big square. I want to not do that. I still keep it the bright color. And this height is different. Height is more like 50. 40, let's say, 30, let's say, and then that margin goes up 3, 1, 2, 180, 170, 160, 165, and then margins on the sides 50, 60, 70, 80, 70, 71, 72, and that looks pretty good. And then the border radius there is going to be 2 small numbers, I think. 2 pixels, 2 pixels, 10 pixels, 10 pixels. How about 20? How about 30? How about 25? And 25. And then this is 3, 4, 5 pixels. So 5 pixels, 5 pixels. All right. And then the tricky bit is the eyeballs. And for this, I'm going to use the C attribute. I'm going to leave, I do need a different color here, but I really want to see it. So there it is. That's what it is to begin. Let's see. The margins here. So here I'm going to set a width and height. Width 50, height 30, 40, 20, and then rotate. So I can use rotate. I can use transform too, but I'm going to use rotate. Rotate. Oh, and it should be rotate colon 45 degrees. So we also need margins on him. Margin. And I'm setting 0 margins, and that's putting it way up there. One 7, 1 6, 1 20, 30, 40, 50. So we're getting closer. The height and width are wrong. How about 30? And the rotation looks wrong too. How about 30? Is it 25 is the width? That could be more right. So the margins are a little bit wrong still. Need to move it over a little bit more here. 1, 2. And then up a little bit more. So that should be less 150. That looks good. So let's set that color. That looks pretty good. But I'm going to add a second one to target that one. It's got a lot in common with this one. So I will use a C plus C to do this. And I can't see it because it's got that dark purple, which is also the background. I'm going to do background of black. Again, I can't see it. Margin, I'm going to do 4 numbers. 4, 0, 0, 0, 0. And it's way over there right now. So I want this last number to be higher than 0. And the rotate is probably minus 30 degrees. And then this margin should be negative 10, 20, 30, 25. And now that it's in position, I can undo that. All right, so 25. So that last number, 198? No, 202. All right, and is that it? Let's see if that's 100% match. And it is. Okay, great. So this validates a lot of how I've been doing these. That something that had been so hard and I was unable to do in the past, I'm now able to do. So I'm pretty happy about that. So this should be --m. And so should this. And so should this. And we still have this, so should this, rather. And here, I'm going to do this as a var, R for rotate, and then this is --r. And then border radius we'll call B. Not a great variable name to keep track of since we also have an attribute B, but that's okay. Border radius. I guess I could call it R. No, I could call it B. Yeah, no, B is correct. Oh, yeah, so var --b. And you see what that looks like without the border radiuses. It's all square. And there it is. So that means that 50% works for all of these, which is great. Okay. The height, I guess we can also do as a variable var --h, comma, and like so, and then like so, and here. I guess in theory we could do without the widths here. Can we? We're doing the margins anyway. So that does that. So to constrain the widths, to make that work, we will need to add to this number. 2, 3. No, not at all. Not at all working. So I'm not going to do that at all. Never mind. Strong never mind on that. Easier to do the height and width for these. Okay, so we're done. We've done what we can there. And the rotate we've got, yeah, okay, so great. So let's minify and unit replace. And that is this complete solution to that one. Very happy with that. That was one that I was dreading to do, and I'm very happy that it was more straightforward. Now, with all that I've learned about how to logic through a CSS battle, I'd be curious to know if anybody's improved or learned any tips here that they really appreciated. Like, what are the good tips? To me, it all is useful, but I don't know if there are things that stand out. I'm kind of curious about that. Oh, also, it's possible I can remove these zeros. No, I can't. How about these zeros? And I can. So that's a set of margins, and it's okay that the right and bottom margins are not set, or they're set to the top and left margins. And just using the two number syntax, so that gives me a better score. All right, so that's that one. All right, so this guy, this is kind of a cute one. This makes me want to do the nested template for some reason. And to do that, I'm going to set this orange color as one color, or the background rather, and then I'm going to set a bottom margin of -8, and then push this down. What I'm trying to do is to set this, and it's possible I'll regret this, 35, 36, 37. Interesting. And then 7, 8, 82. Okay. We got circles here. So what are they? Radial gradient. Circle. And that color. And then transparent. 30 pixels. And then I'm going to set that to 0. Okay. Well, that's our first circle. And what's our second circle? We've only got one of those, so variabilizing it doesn't make any sense. Let's do the next circle, which is going to be our awful similar. In fact, I'm going to copy and paste it. But it's got the light color, and then the dark color. Interesting. I'm going to put a background color of black in the background there. Okay, so that is at, so if I do no position, okay, so there it is. He also needs a position. So -18, 22. And then this color stop is 50. Oh, and so see that. So I can't use exactly the same gradient, which is frustrating, but not unreasonable. I can't variabilize that. So, or I can variabilize this, but not the position. Yeah, because it would cover. Yeah, I think that means that it would cover it. So the last part I'm going to do is another radial gradient, and that's actually going to get me both parts of this, the inner part and the outer part. So what's that look like? That's going to be radial gradient, circle again, inner color of 30 pixels, outer color of the dark and 0, and I'm going to put it at 0 and then down 100 pixels, but I'm also going to give it a height and width, 100% wide, and then 100 pixels tall, and then no repeat. Okay. And it's at, should be at 95 or 90? No, 100. How about 105? There's 105. So it's got to be taller. 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, and interestingly, that covers that. So we're still bitten by that bug. So how do I solve that? Well, the simple solution is to copy this put it on the top layer, have this be transparent, and then comma. No, that's not the simplest solution at all. Oh, unless I, so okay, hold on. Unless I do a no repeat or a repeat, yeah, no repeat. There it is. Let's submit that and see if we've got 100%. I'm not sure we do. Yeah, we do not. All right. This has gotten out of control. Okay, so all of this I need to rethink. That is not working properly at all. Okay, I'm going to set this background color. Okay, what do we got that's good? I think that's no good. No, that's okay. No. Oh boy. All right, so this shape, which is so seemingly simple, is not so simple. What do we do about that? I feel like we start over. We say, nope, this is not the way to do this. Let's do aspect ratio 1. Let's just do circles. Why not? We're gonna do circles here. What's that look like? Okay, one thing at a time. Okay, we're gonna put this color on the background. We're gonna do the first circle has this background, a border radius of 50%, aspect ratio of 1. Our margins, we're going to say 50 auto, and see how we get here. So this size is too big. 50, 55, 60, and then this margin is 48, 47, 46, 45. Okay. And then let's undo this color. And let's do box shadows. Box shadow 0, 100 pixels, 0, 120 pixels. All right, and let's get these numbers right. 60, 70, 75, 30, 40, 50, and then those the color. Okay. So that maybe is a better way to do, maybe. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to set some widths here, or set this margin so that it works better. 150, 60, 60, 61, 62. Okay. So what now? We still have a circle that we need to do. How about radial gradient? And we just need the inner color. And we know it's bigger than 60 pixels. 80 pixels. Oh, how about 50? And that's behind everything. And then lastly, a conic gradient. And in this case, I would do the yellow, 75% around, and then the orange, and then move it over. Down lower, 3, 4, 5, and then not over as much, 90. And then the at value here is implicitly 50%, 50%. But I'm going to increase the x value. 55. No, that's not right. No, this is the one. I need to add an at 50%, 50%. And I don't need this because that is helpfully dead center. Although I think that, yeah, you'd add a comma. There we go. So this could be 55. 55. Let's submit that. I think that's right now. So we have one paragraph that's this solid, and then box shadows and 2 gradients. A radial gradient for the. So if I delete this, this is what we made on the background. All right, unit replace, minify, and resubmit, and that is the solution. All right, that's a fun one. Slightly tricky, but fun. And what do we got here? Definitely a fun shape. I'm gonna go blank template, but today I feel like what I want to do is margin 0 and then a border. So border, solid color, border width. So 100, that's too big on both of it. So about 50, 60. I think I can do this without pixel values. Yeah, 70, 75, and then 80, 90. And then how do I make those shapes? And actually, is there an easier way to do this? No, it's fine. I do have myself questioning. Yeah, we're going to do this on the paragraph tag, even though I don't know if we need to. So I'm putting that back. And I'm going to put in a conic gradient. Actually, I'm going to put, conic gradient. To do these little shapes, right? So transparent, 75% around, and then the pink color to make it, and put upper corner 0, 0, and then 100 pixels, 80 pixels. That's how you get that. And I'm going to add a no repeat. And I'm going to make this black because I would like to really understand the shapes that I'm getting into here. How about 90 tall, 2, pixels. If I let that repeat, is that a perfect match? Can't quite tell. Oh, okay, so this needs to be transparent. Is that a perfect? No, it's not a perfect match. Why would it be? So I'm going to add this same color in the background. Okay, so what's wrong here? So that means this is not tall enough. How about 50? 40, 30. There we go. All right, so that's the next part. What's the next part? How do we make the rest of this shape is the question. I feel like linear gradient of this pink, 10 pixels, transparent. And can we make that work if we set widths and sizing to it? So let's use repeats intelligently. So I'm going to do 0 as the left edge, and then 50 pixels down to do this middle part, 50, 55. Okay. So I can variabilize this and get a little bit of reuse. So G for gradient. Then I can do bar G. Let's do another one. With this one, we're going to do, so 70 pixels over, 0 from the top, and it's 40 pixels tall, 40 pixels wide, and 50 pixels tall, and repeat Y. And that's what you get out of that. We got the idea right. So this should be taller a little bit, so 55. Great. And wider, 100. 110. And that looks pretty good. That's a fair solution to that. So now we have the middle bit. So right now we've got We actually got nothing on the body still. That's what we got on the body. So I think the final bit of this, is there any optimization we can make? No, I think that's fine like that. Okay, so and then the last part I'm going to do is I'm going to do a background on the body. Background. Oh, and because, yeah, conic gradient. And I'm going to do some false colors here because this is a tricky one. Ah, great. So I'm glad I can see that. I need an at value. So at, let's say 40 by 40. Or the center of that is 40 by 40. So now I got to move it a lot. There it is. Great. I'm glad I can see it. Need to move it down more. 10, 30, 40, 45, 140, 100, 110, lower, 80. There it is. Okay, so now I replace the yellow, or yeah, the yellow becomes this color, and the red becomes this color. And I think that's a solution. And that makes me pretty happy. So 3 gradients on the paragraph element that I created. And then, and I guess in theory, all these the sizes would change if I put them on the body. So I'm not going to do that, but you could. One could do that. You also need to cover the whole thing because some of these repeats are going to do funky things if you change that around. So I'm happy with that. So minify, unit replace. I don't think there's any unit. Yeah, and then unit. So then we're done. That guy. Intricate little puzzle. That one. I like that one a lot. It's really fun. That's where we stop for today. So again, that was the 8th, 9th, and 10th of June 2024. Particularly proud of revisiting this one and finding that I could do it, which is great. I believe that's one that I had a lot of hemming and hawing, a lot of 597s, 99.9% matches from a long time ago. So yeah, thanks for watching, and go make a web page and send it to your friend. Everybody's got web browsers. It's pretty darn cool. Make a web page. All right, have a great day. Bye-bye.